The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making their way to the ring.
Live from the AfterBuzz TV studios, it's Making Their Way to the Ring with Lilian Garcia!
Hey guys, welcome. So excited to have you back. This is part two. Why? Because we had an amazing interview last week with Trish Stratus, and I just couldn't stop the conversation. She's got so much more to say. You can tell I'm wearing the same thing because it's the same day. But we're showing it now, a week later, because, like I said, there's just so much more to cover. Her life in WWE, her relationship after, her world after WWE. Is there life after WWE? You're going to hear it. And don't forget, if you didn't get to see the first part, all you got to do is go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV and make sure you watch it that way. You can comment, you can subscribe. Please subscribe. Tell your friends all about it. And what's so much fun is there's a whole chat that can be happening at the same time. You can do that now for part two. And also you can go to iTunes. You can download this, subscribe on iTunes where all podcasts are found, and keep up with this interview, keep up with the previous interviews with Brie Bella, with Tori Wilson, and we've got more in the future. But you know what? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, for part two with the beautiful, amazing Trish Stratus. Big round of applause. Yay! I hear it. Yay!
Hi again.
Hi
again.
I know.
Welcome back.
So I was telling everybody.
You could have summed all that up by saying Trish babbles. So we're back.
No. See, you don't get it. I mean, this is amazing. Like I told you, it's been, you and I were together for 7 years.
Do you learn some new stuff?
I learned some new stuff. Absolutely,
right?
I have.
I've learned some new stuff about myself. That's amazing.
It's blowing my mind, right?
Yeah.
It just goes both ways. So, and that's what I love about these type of interviews.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted you to stay on. I mean, first of all, you made the trek all the way from Toronto.
Yeah, let's make this 5-hour flight worth it, okay?
You know?
It's a cross-country flight. Yeah.
And so, I mean, here you were, when I picked you up this morning at the pier, and all of a sudden, you know, you're taking your sisters and your mom and little Max with you. They're at the Santa Monica Pier having a lot of fun right now.
Yes.
All right. And I pick you up and I literally started crying.
I know.
Because I'm just so touched that you made this trip. You're 8 months pregnant. We talked about that in part one. Yeah. And we did breaking news.
Yeah.
You're having a little girl.
You haven't heard it.
You're having a little girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you've got a little boy, you got a little girl coming. You guys, seriously, if you didn't catch part one, you have to go back because you'll learn about Trish, about things that I didn't even know after 7 years of traveling with her, and just so inspiring.
Aww.
Do you realize how inspiring you are?
That's such a weird question because, like, do you realize how inspiring you are?
Well, when I say,
Right?
and here's the way I've answered that, or I've looked at it.
Yes.
Literally, I had the most beautiful, for example, I mean, fans will come up to me and they're like, oh my God, because of your story, this is what's happened. So I'm like, that's, I guess I was inspiring, right?
So do we realize we're definitely aware? You become aware that, wow, you are making an impact on people's lives, like in a huge way.
And you can make a negative impact or positive.
Right.
And you've made a very positive impact. And I want to take it back from where we left off. Mm-hmm. You were talking about Robert Kennedy, your mentor.
Yep. Yeah, publisher of Muscle Mag and Oxygen magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he really, and here's the thing that Tony Robbins talks about this. Mm-hmm. So Tony Robbins talks about if you want to get into a field of something, find somebody that knows that field already and get them to mentor you.
Yeah.
You were lucky enough to have that.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have done it. I mean, of course I couldn't have done it. He was instrumental because he was, in fact, the publisher.
And he believed in you.
He believed in me and he saw my potential. And when I didn't, I was like, I wasn't sure I don't know about this industry. And he let me, he saw my potential in so many ways, though. Like, I mean, bringing out my ability to relate to people, to speak, speaking. He would set up speaking engagements where I had the opportunity to talk to other people that maybe were, just either unaware of the nutrition health industry or the importance of health and nutrition, but also just like realizing your potential, that kind of thing as well. So. He always said to me, he goes, you're gonna be a star. And I was like, kind of just, it's like with that thing with, inspiring you, or it's like, you're gonna be a star. What do you say to that? Like, so I'm not saying I was a star, I am a star, or whatever. I'm just saying he saw big things for me.
Right.
And he always took the time with me. But even like as, from a business perspective, when I say he took me under his wing, like he brought me, he had a publishing, the publishing house was in Toronto, just outside Toronto. And he brought me into the offices, and I knew all the staff there. And so I learned, even like just like when we go to WWE and you are friends with all the crew, like you realize it's these people that come together and make you look great. And really, like, you show up and you do your job, but these people work their butts off and do not get the recognition. And it was nice because I went back recently to WWE and saw these people, and I realized, like, these are my friends. Like, I mean, I've known these people for 15 years, right? So it's real, and you know the importance of that, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones giving you the little iggies on the side, and they're making that moment for you, you know? So being in the office and, you know, working with the guy who's doing my layout, and so I got a chance to not only go take these amazing, you know, trips to go and do these exotic photo shoots with these, you know, beautifully tanned and toned bodies, which was awesome, but I got the chance to learn by his side. I picked most of my own covers. And so
Did you
that's,
really?
yeah, and that's where that started.
Okay,
That's where that
so
started.
that explains a lot. I know.
Even Triple H will know that little thing about me. Yes.
Did the office at WWE, did they get annoyed with you? Like, because I know
it's funny, like,
how
they did.
hands-on you are.
Yeah, and to the point where, like, when I think when I went back before WrestleMania with Snooki and Lay Cool, so I had gone in to, you know, I went to, I did something in Connecticut. It was something I did with the cameras there. And we were chatting and stuff, and he was talking about, you know, coming back. And actually, it wasn't for that time. It was for something else. It was brewing. And he said, you know, think about it. He goes, I know you're going to want to approve everything. Like, he did, like, the rolling eyes, like, I know. And I just laughed because, like, they know. And it's like, I always start, sometimes I go, like, I know I'm being the pain in the ass, but it's a good pain because you'll see.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
And I always say I wasn't picky. I was particular.
Yeah.
And
you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And that's important.
My whole thing was like, and I never said, like, it wasn't like, I'm just going to say no. That was the problem in WWE. You can't just go, no, I'm not doing that. For me, I said no many times, but I'd say no, but how about?
And you taught me that as well.
No, but how about? So, like, there's always a different way to get what they need, because they need what they need. They needed sex appeal. And I was like, well, okay, I'll give you sex, but could we do it this way first? You know, I mean, even with the great, like the I'll never forget that gravy bowl match that me and Stacey had. And I was like, I looked at Finn, I was like, really? Like, we're on a roll. I got to do a gravy bowl match? What is it? Did they just make that up? Who was great? Is this the first annual?
I can't make a pumpkin pie bowl match or something.
Like gravy and like in a bikini. I'm like, oh man, or the clothes had to come off eventually. So I was like, okay, but what if? And so then I put the spot where I'm like, but can we start it with me being thrown from the ramp to the gravy bowl thing, you know, into the gravy bowl, you know what I mean?
Right. So it's not like an official.
Right. And I got my holy shit chant, which was thank you.
Really? That
was my first one. Yeah, it was very good. I was like, okay, it's worth having this gravy
There you
bowl
go.
match.
It's all about
See,
the gravy.
It's all about the gravy. So yeah. So anyway, I learned that. So yes. So I was very hands-on because Robert Kennedy allowed me to be, and showed me the importance of, like, I really started building a brand in 1998 with him.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing the importance of that. And even Satisfaction Guaranteed, I was using that in fitness.
Seriously?
Yes. So I TM that. That's me. Like, I own that.
Wow.
I went into, like, my contract at the back had TrishStratus.com, Satisfaction Guaranteed. Like, these were the things that I owned.
Did they ever try to change your name?
No, because they did value the following that I had coming in. So
that's great.
Yeah. So
you and I are very lucky.
Oh
in
my
that
gosh,
respect.
we are so lucky.
You're so lucky.
Yes. So I know, formerly known as, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't quite have the
know.
same. Making the way of the ring now.
Formerly known as.
Yes.
I know.
So he taught me that. I got to pick my covers. I learned the importance of posing, cropping, like everything. Like, so I learned, and like when we say WWE, what we learned, the production side of things. That's what I learned from the modeling side of things, was that kind of stuff. So we even talked about at one point doing a yoga magazine together. Actually, I was gonna.
Is he still alive?
He's not. He's passed a few years ago. He did. Yeah.
So you guys had this conversation about yoga.
Yeah, like, so even when I was on the road and then had explored yoga, like, you know, in fact, I had been on the road, and we would still have lunch here and there. We would just meet up, and I wasn't doing anything much active in the fitness world. So they would occasionally use my old pictures for some of the, you know, magazines or something. But I had said to him, I'm like, well, he goes, we should do a photo shoot. Like, I said, I'd love to do a yoga photo shoot. Like, I'd love to show that side of it. And he was like, I don't know, it's not really fitness. I'm like, oh, but it is. This is when, because, you know, I tapped into yoga when it wasn't like everyone was walking around with their mats on their back now.
Right.
Like, people now do that. You see that a lot, right? So I was like, but it's an athletic, it's definitely an athletic thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely, you know.
So hard.
Yeah, and I said, and I would love to spread the word. And so he was like, let's talk about it. Like, he was, you know, he was.
And this is about how long ago?
Oh my gosh, 2002, like something like maybe back there, 2001, somewhere around there. And then,
so you never did it, right?
Well, we did.
You
actually,
did?
I convinced him. Like I said, you know, so we convinced him. It was a cover shoot. We did the shoot.
Wait a minute, is that the one, the white one where you had the white outfit?
it is.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm in a very exotic outfit when you do this, like some sort of a flamenco or something. No,
I am Spanish, you know.
Yoga would be a little more toned down than that, but no, that wasn't that one.
I'm doing this like I'm grabbing the leg.
Oh, is that what that outfit? I pictured like feathers or something from Vegas. I didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
It was from that photo shoot, actually. Yes,
It was?
it was. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
and
right,
so
cool.
yeah, so and I've got to. We'll pull the cover.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm wondering because I've seen this, you know, really
that became
big.
my brand image.
Right, that
Yes.
was that white one, but it said Stratosphere. Or
Yeah, that became my
yeah.
brand image. So that was
Okay,
the imagery
so that
I
was
used for
the
that.
one with
Yes.
Robert. That's
so
great.
I did the
We
shoot,
had that photo.
And
so.
you know what's cool is we did this shoot, and he walked in to see what was going on. So we're doing our photo shoot, and he says, "So I think we had actually wrapped the shoot, and I was." Or no, I was doing a handstand or just a headstand, just a simple, which is a simple move, right? I mean, for yoga, see, it's simple. Everyone can do it.
Yeah, not so much.
No, but so you go on your head and you slowly raise your legs. So that there's an art to doing that. You engage your hips, the legs, etc. Right? So I was doing this, and he was like, to see the stillness and the beauty of your body moving like that. He goes, I became a believer. Like he was like, yeah, and he was like, this was like a real turning point for me to like go. I think people like to just to see it. Like he goes like, because yoga's like at that point it was just sort of a. What is it like? You're in a pretzel shape. There's incense. Like, what is yoga? Like, people didn't even know what yoga was, right?
Yeah.
So it was exciting for me to like have that platform to be able to like show that it is, you know, the fitness and to mesh the fitness and the yoga world a little bit together, and then go back to my roots and do that stuff was really cool. So.
Wow. Well, before, and I do want to talk more about yoga and everything like that, but I want to take you back again. Right. Let's go back to where you're doing this fitness, and then all of a sudden, you know, WWE comes knocking. So I kind of teased this at the end of part one, where when I say that I was in the room with JR. So here's the thing. I'm in the production office.
Okay.
And JR's on the phone. And you know JR does not talk soft.
Right.
This is not JR.
Yeah, right.
No. You know his voice.
Yes.
You know, right? So JR is just like, I don't know that he's talking about you. Okay, so I want to make that clear.
Did it click later? It was like, oh, that's...
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It clicked later. So
and you never told me. Interesting.
I know. This is crazy. This is what I mean. Like, you know, we needed this.
Yes.
We needed this moment.
Yes.
So all I'm hearing is, I'm hearing him speaking to someone. I know it's not to you because he keeps saying her, she, all of this. But he goes, I put it together because now I know your life more. He's talking about...
What, did you just realize now, though?
No. I realized like after,
Yes.
I mean, you know, I've known you in the fitness world and everything like that. But he's talking about, I have so much appreciation for what she has done in the fitness world. She's exactly what we're looking for. She's so amazing. We have big plans for her. I'll never forget big plans because I'm like, who is this? Who's coming?
Yeah.
Who is she?
Yeah.
Right? And
oh my
I'm not
gosh.
trying to eavesdrop it, but oh God, the guy speaks at full volume. You know what I mean?
He does.
But I just remember him just being so adamant, like, she's amazing. She's a crazy. We need her. We have big plans for her. And I could tell that your guy was really trying to protect and go, okay, but she's not going to be every ordinary girl or whatever. Or that, you know.
Well, it was a lot of it went into because I know that there's a standard, entry contract, but it was like, no, she's got a really good thing going here. So if you're going to take her away from that, you got to know that, right? Like, I mean, like I had regularly bookings were regular. Like I was constantly, she'll get publicity. I have publicity. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was on, but I mean, within a couple years, I was on, I don't know, I got to probably check my website because I have everything cataloged there, but I mean, like a handful of covers already. Within 2 years, I was like, boom, 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 like on all these covers. So I came in like done cover work, done interviews, lots of media training, like,
What can you offer me?
That's what.
It's more like that. What can
and
you
this
offer
lawyer
me
I got
that's
actually
different? Yeah.
I was just like, and I don't work. I don't have people in my life. Like as much as people think there's lawyers and background and whatnot. Like he was someone that was recommended to me, I guess, and basically, I had that lawyer who was able to negotiate all that. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're in.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yes.
So when you got signed in 99?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So funny, because that's the first year that I started. So you and I started at the same time.
Yep.
It's just that I started on air without knowing what the hell I'm doing. Oh, my God.
See how that worked out. Well, guess what? I didn't know what the hell I was doing either.
Well, but you went a little bit. They sent you to training school.
No, they didn't send me. I went to myself.
You went yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there we
go. Well,
I love
actually,
it.
even before like the JR, before I was signed, right? What happened was I was doing an interview. There was a Toronto studio. There was an interview being done, and I'd met Carl DeMarco. He was the president of WWE Canada, WWF at the time, Canada.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
and which we're still great friends actually.
I love
Another
him.
mentor in my life. He's just a really
Right.
close friend, and he provided me with a lot of he was really great about in Canada. We were like, oh, we have this whole country kind of that we could use you for.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he and I were like, what can we, like, just like I had that cover in my hand, I was like, how can I use my voice with this cover? If I can use this. He was like, we got Trish Stratus, WWE Superstar. What can we do? And we did, I hosted Canada's Walk of Fame. Did you even know that? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Singing and dancing.
Singing
so
and
maybe I do a
dancing.
little singing and dancing here and there.
Yeah.
When there's lots of weeks of training.
I'll never
choreograph.
forget when you told me you were going to do that, and Pamela Anderson was in the audience,
Yeah, and
and
she
that was
kissed me.
And
the time she kissed me.
But I remember you saying that you really
did.
had a lot of, like, she was one of your idols, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was not idol maybe, but someone that
you
you
know
looked,
what I mean. Yeah,
someone
you
that you
look
looked up
up
to,
for-
like
right.
she was a unique entity in the industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
and
it's like me with Pat Benatar. Love Pat Benatar. And for
Yes.
me, she really made an influence on how I sing in
Yeah.
my life. So,
Yeah.
Pamela, I just remember you saying that Pamela was somebody you just really
yeah, I just remember.
loved.
I'll tell you what happened. What the Pamela Anderson thing was like. So I used to buy like things for Ron, right? For Christmas, like the Pamela Anderson calendar, and like and then for me,
What a cool girlfriend.
yeah. Oh, I was totally a cool girlfriend. Like even
Yeah.
like, and Ron was. I mean, he gotta say, he was a cool boyfriend. Like he was.
Yeah.
And for him to sit through all that, right? To like.
Yeah, I don't
know
want
what
to
I mean?
touch on that for sure.
Yeah, we'll touch on that for sure. But yeah. So then suddenly I was, I think there was an article that said, like Pamela Anderson, but with muscles.
Muscles.
Look at muscles.
I love it.
So it was like, oh, that's neat. Wow. And so that was what for me was kind of like, okay, and so and
that's
she was
cool.
a sort of a person in an industry that was, doing stuff like different things, like, and I mean this TV personality that was now in calendars and doing stuff. So I ended up doing a calendar too at one point. Like we pursued some people and we put a calendar together. It's from 99, 2000, 2001. So. So anyway, so I was doing, so I'm just doing my fitness modeling thing, and I'm totally like, that industry for me, like, it was a brand new industry, and it was like, you could do anything with this platform that I've been provided with. So from my brother-in-law who was doing comic conventions. Now, as you know, we were just talking about, you just did a comic convention recently. There's beautiful women, there's WWE personalities. We're at these comic conventions now. Back in '99, not to say that I pioneered that industry, but there was comic writers and there's arguments too from the true fans that are like, well, these people have nothing to do with the comic world, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So they do say that. But so what I did is, so my brother-in-law had a booth, and so I would go to the booth, and he was like, we were like, well, good-looking, attractive female who maybe has some superhero-looking bodies, can be at your booth, and so so we started working. I would work at his booth with them, and then I was like, oh, I'm on a cover. Like, so eventually, when I became a fitness model, and I have my own covers, I'm like, I could have my own booth. And so this is me, myself, this like, what am I?
Entrepreneur. I love it.
I blew up my covers. I put them just the way they would present, their comic store or whatever. I presented myself as the brand. And I mean, if you could see the flyers, my assistant, I pulled this up with her. I said, she was like, oh, you've always, I'm like, girl, you got to see the stuff from like 99 that I would like set up appearances. But then what I would do would send them, here's some posters of me. If you could put around and I would send them to the gyms in the local area. Like, it was just PR marketing, just doing all that stuff. And like, I would work on Microsoft Word and like, cut and paste in the text box, like, but put images. But the stuff I made, even when WWE finally called, I sent them my press kit. I'll send you my press kit. And I just made it. So I put all my covers together. I put little excerpts from each of my articles. I cataloged it. I did it like a little, a spreadsheet of Trish Stratus. This is her vital stats. Like, I did a whole, and I'd love to pull it out one day. Like, it's pretty. And I had my Satisfaction Guaranteed line in there and made a little logo from it, and had worked actually with a fan about creating a logo and everything. So I like.
What I love, Trish, is what I'm hearing is that you didn't have all these people doing this for you. Like, you really did work hard.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You worked hard. You've always worked hard. You've always been hands-on. You haven't just let everything, people do all this thing for you. And I think that that's what sometimes people don't know, and they see stardom and they don't know the whole thing that went into it and how much work it goes into it.
And I think a lot of like, the successful people in life, they work for it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that get opportunities, and a lot of people, like, there's a lot of wrestlers that have been on TV before, but it's the ones that really work for it and put in the work and you know it's your own, like, it's this opportunity that you can mold into whatever direction you want to go. You can create your own destiny in this world that you've been, you know, this world that you've been presented with. I mean, we had such an amazing platform, you know. So yeah, and like just like I said with Carl DeMarco, like, okay, like doing these opportunities, like we were in Flair magazine, which is a, you know, it's a high profile fashion magazine in Canada. Like, what is a wrestler doing on there? But we're like, we're going to present them with you know, this opportunity of this Toronto personality that's done this thing, right? So yeah, so I mean, a lot of, yeah, I mean, I continue to work hard. I love it. You know, but it's fun to just, I love taking.
And I do want to talk about your post life at WWE and what you've done with that, because it's been tremendous. But now, were you like, when you signed, was your stomach like, oh my God, have I done the right thing?
Well, okay, so I met Carl DeMarco.
Yeah,
and he said to me, he's like, I just met him, and I was like, kind of, so I was introduced to him from the wrestling world. And I think he had said something, you know, have you seen it? Would you'd probably be a good fit, or just kind of threw it at me, like I didn't even think about, oh, should I, could I be? You know, it just was like in the conversation. Because he knew me as this fitness model who was on this, I was on this, on a different show with my cover talking about my stuff, right? So then I actually, Michael P.S. Hayes was doing, I guess they were called slam jams back then. And like those,
slam jam.
Do you remember
that? Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And so he's doing these slam jams, and I was like, so then I met him.
Explain that for people that don't know
slam
what a slam
jams
jam.
were like, I don't even, it was like a commercial break from Canada, basically giving Canadian fans pertinent information about wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so this was being done live from Canada, and he said to me, he said, you know, you could really be. He goes, you should send your stuff to them. Like I should set you up with a call or contact. So he actually was like the very first person that actually
instigated it.
Yeah, who saw me and kind of thought this could happen. And then I thought, okay, so then we got the contact. So he gave me that first contact. So I sent my press kit. I put this little thing together, and and I sent it off. And then I didn't hear anything. Didn't hear anything for months. Another month went by, and I was like, oh, well, okay, so much for that. But then I thought, but if they do call, I would like to prepare the best possible package. So I was like, well, Edge is from Toronto, so let me see where he trained. And because I realized it's a physical job. And for me, honestly, looking at it, that was what I saw in that job, was like, ooh, I could do, like, for me, the appeal of being, you know, the beauty and the brawn, you know, to go in there, actually be physical and be athletic. And that was the appealing part to me, right? It
Well, that's because you also have that athletic background, and that's what's so key.
Yeah. So I went and I trained on my own. And I'll never forget, this is another mentor in my life, Ron Hutchison. He was, I knocked on his door. It was this Rocky Balboa style gym that was just, you know, raw, and Edge trained out of there, Christian trained out of there, Gail Kim trained out of there. She came afterwards.
Wow.
I was one of the first females that came to his gym, the first female that he accepted in his gym. And he was like, oh, I don't think you realize what this is. Like, this is a gym. Like, there's men here. Yeah. You know, or boys. I mean, older men.
Right.
Like, not teenagers, but yeah, there was, you know, this is wrestling. So you sure you want to? Yeah, I do. I said, and then at that point, was there the rumors had started? Yeah, there was some rumors. Did you know about the rumors that were starting?
No.
So the rumors. This is when internet was like just peaking around '99, right?
Okay.
When it started. Yeah. So I attended a live panel for Off the Record, right? They were like, call Trish, she loves wrestling. Let's put her on this panel. And they had some live guests. Jason Sensation, do you remember that guy?
Oh my God, you remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, he was the first guy I wrestled. First wrestling match I had was with Jason Sensation.
That.
So so he's an awesome guy. He's still doing something. He does amazing stuff. You've seen his like impersonations, right?
Yeah.
So he was on there, and then there was Glenn Kulka, was supposed to be a next big up-and-comer, kind of like a Brock Lesnar kind of guy. So they had him on there. So it was basically Raw was going to be at the Sky Dome that night. During the day, they had a press conference to announce that Raw would be prime time, because we used to, in Canada, we had to have to catch Raw at like, you know, maybe like midnight or something like that, like odd times. So they were going to finally bring it prime time. So their big press conference to announce it. Then this Off the Record show would follow with these, you know, key guests. And so I'm on this panel, and they're just talking wrestling, right? And at one point they said, so Trish, who do you think the best female in wrestling is, right? And then, so I'm like, and then the crowd starts going, you, Trish. And and I watch it back, I look so ridiculous. But inside you can see, I'm like, oh my God, they're saying me. This is like, and I even like stutter my words. I'm like, I'm not even in the wrestling. I was so excited that they were saying me.
But that's natural.
Like, it was just funny because I was like, I never thought of myself in the wrestling world, but the fact that they were saying that, right?
The fans actually even saw this.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, and I get so tickled by it. You could see it in my expression.
I love our fans.
I just go,
fans so much.
I go Sable, and then they booed that. So that was kind of funny at the time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from there we went like just like a fan. I was so excited. I got tickets to the show. So Stone Cold Steve Austin was like the Austin 316 was just the big thing at that time. So I needed a t-shirt, but I need to show off my sexy body. And there was no, like they just started the female t-shirts. I mean, like, not just.
So I already see where this is going. The
So
scissors
I made
came
my
out.
own, little t-shirt. I went to like a little mall and got the little stickers made to put on.
Oh my God, of course you did.
So yeah, of course I did. So anyway, I showed up, and then people were coming to me and saying, so when are you debuting? Because they had been at the press conference. I was like, oh no, I'm not in wrestling. And then this internet was basically it was like Trish Stratus spotted at this live event and was on this panel. Vince loves her and is she starting soon? And I'm like, so here's me and Ron, like wrestling fans, go to wrestling matches. Like we would took a trip to Florida just to go see WCW down there because we're like, okay, and then we'll go down there, we'll go to wrestling. Like this is the kind of stuff we did. So where I'm like, they're talking about, and then I was like, women of wrestling galleries, and it was like the real women of wrestling, and then mine. I was like, what am I? This is insane. But then still, no call.
The universe.
But no call was coming, and like.
Did you try again?
I'm in these, but they said on the internet, guys.
Yeah, but did you try again? Like once you said it once.
For me, it was like hold on, maybe it wasn't meant for not that I probably was that aware at the time to say maybe it wasn't meant to be at this time, but I just thought I want to train. I'm like almost like. Sometimes where you do something, you're like, let me just quickly do this in case it happens. I want to make sure I'm ready for it or something.
But that is what we were talking about. Luck is when, opportunity meets preparation. You were preparing.
I was preparing.
You were preparing.
And so to me, to be able to say, but yes, and I'm also physical, that's what I'd like to do if I came into this world. Because I was like, what am I going to do? What am I doing here? And this is the time too, we'll go back to that in a second, but I'll tell you when I first signed the contract. So anyway, did my training for a few months, learned how to wrestle, learned the basics, and then when I finally did get the call from JR, and the why the call took so long was because you remember there was a bunch of WCW personalities like Vince Russo, Terry Taylor that left WWF.
Yes, I do remember because I was there.
Right, and they went to WCW. It was a big thing, and so Terry Taylor called me. And he was the one, actually, he would have signed me, but he said to me, he goes, I'm sorry I didn't call you. This huge thing happened with WCW, and we're here now. We'd love to take you here, but it's only fair because you were first approached while I was in WWF, and I know it's actually a passion of yours. I've left your package on JR's desk, and I said, if you want her, here's her package.
Talk about
if
being
not,
ethical.
We'll take her. Oh yeah.
No, but that was so ethical of him.
Very much so. Yeah.
He didn't sit
not
there
to say
and
I
just
didn't get an
try
offer later.
Yeah, but it's okay because he gave the first offer.
It was pretty
to them.
awesome.
That speaks volumes of him, and I've loved Terry for so many years.
And I don't know if I've ever really thanked him. So thank you, Terry Taylor.
Now.
Honestly, it's like and when you talk about these, you do these interviews, and because we're having this long-winded, wonderful interview,
love it.
you have a time, you just give kind of your close notes, your bullet points of your so I always go yes, and then I went here, and then I went here. You kind of skip the middle part. But P.S. Hayes
so important.
and Terry Taylor, these guys were saw something in me and presented this, and so JR finally called me, and it was it was like crazy to get a call from him. They flew me in. I was in a limousine. I'm like, I'm in a limousine. This is insane. I'm going to and I was in the headquarters. I'm like, oh my God, I'm walking through here, trying not to look too
marking
crazy,
out.
marking out. You know what I mean? I was like, this is incredible, right?
Yeah.
And then I sat down with JR, and we had a great chat. When we talked about things, and then he says, well, it is a physical industry. And I said, well, I've been training with, I don't know if you know Ron Hutchison, but he's like, of course. He goes, and I said, yep. I've been training for a few months with him, so I'm prepared to. And I told my athletic background. I said this would be. I said I've actually been wrestling for years on my aunt's bed. You know what I mean?
yeah. You're going back to your cousins. Thank you, cousins.
Thank you, cousins. They know. George and Jason know. And
And every day they're reminding you.
Yes,
probably.
they do. I've given them several shout-outs.
Yeah.
Yes. So and then I left there and then just went home and contract offer came, and that was it in '99.
And how did that feel to sign it?
Crazy. We took pictures with it. Even getting the envelope that has the WWF logo at the time, right? So you get that logo, you're like,
you still have it?
Is my postman? No, I don't know. I have the contract. Of course I do. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a big thing for me, Ron. It was this is how did we get here? And then my cousins, for them to be like, what? And it all happened, like I said, from '97 to '99. In 2 years, I was on covers. It was just crazy. You kind of don't. It's just one thing after that was happening. It was just like.
But I will say one thing about you, because I've known you for so many years. I've never seen, even though you're a go-getter, you're an achiever, you're you ask to make sure that you check things and all of that. I've never seen an arrogance about you. And that has been the beautiful thing about you, because there's so many people that will get this opportunity, and for some reason their heads go.
We've seen it. We've seen it. Yeah.
They can't even fit through the door.
And honestly, I would say I'm just gonna let my palate.
Yeah, but no, please do.
Okay.
Here, you're ready.
Ron has a big
Influence in you.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, I'm just like Ron, and I would just come home to Ron, and we would just be normal, and we would do our thing, normal couple things. I wasn't caught up in like, I really did a good job of like clicking off, leave that world, real life, because a lot of times the people, that's what happens. I think it's blurred, the line is blurred. We're real life, and you know, it's like I'm Trish Stratus on TV, but I'm just Trish at home, like. And I go to the grocery store, and that's why when fans would be like, and they cry, I'm like, don't cry. I just, you know what? I do my job on TV. Like, that's the only difference, right? And that's kind of cool. But like, you know, we have the same struggles. We do the same thing. You go to work every day, you work hard, and so do I. You know what I mean? And so I think that was a big part of it. You know, Ron's like you said, he's very chill.
I love Ron. Oh my God, he's so awesome. He's
so
right for you.
Call him, and we'd call him, and be like, okay, how did we do? And you know, that he became Ron. It was the Ron report, because Ron is like.
It was the Ron report. We would get in the car
and say, let's get the Ron report.
Yes.
Even with Victoria and I, like, and Amy and I would get in the car. Okay, let's get the Ron report.
Yeah, the Ron report. And boy, he was so real with you too. He is not like going to sugarcoat everything.
No. And he'd be real, you know. Yeah, Lilian, I noticed that.
Yeah, I know that little thing, but he was great because that's what made us better.
And again,
so, thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Another thank you.
Yeah. Don't boo. Oh, good. There's no people here. No. Hall of Fame moment. I had a flashback. Hall of Fame moment there.
Oh my God, I do remember that. But that's because
the most hated heel in wrestling.
You know what? And
people hashtagged heel Ron, like, and then even later on would come back to that. I wonder if heel Ron will show up. It's hilarious.
But I saw him after, backstage afterwards, and he was like, I get it.
He gets
People
it.
don't want to.
My line I said to him is like, people work very hard to get booed out of the building at MSG.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is amazing.
Right? It is amazing.
Yeah. So.
Wow. All right. So you're on the road, but you know, you said obstacles, you said struggles, and I want to talk about a struggle that I don't know if people know, and I think, like I said in this show, it's okay to talk about things like this. You kind of had a struggle when you first got there, and as a new girl on the block.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had a struggle when I got there. It is tough entry, and I think it's tough. It's not just this industry; it's tough if you're the new kid in school.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so you were the new kid in school,
and it's competitive, right? Like the industry. So it's like, well, she's still my spotlight. You know what I mean? And nobody, I don't care if you're Britney frickin' Spears, is going to steal my spotlight. Oh, sorry, I had a flashback again. Do you remember that promo? No,
I don't.
It was one of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember this part?
No, tell me.
It was my heel. I was a heel, and so the line was like I was talking about the girls trying to steal my spotlight. It was when I was feuding with Christy Hemme, which I loved. That was like I love her, right?
Yeah.
And she's I connect with her recently because I was like, oh my God, you had a baby, right? So it was kind of like mamas just love connecting with other mamas, right?
I'm really gonna. I want
get
her on the show. Yeah, for sure.
She, what a journey, and she is amazing, and she's so talented. So during that time, it was like the spotlight thing, and so the line was, no one's gonna steal my spotlight, and then I was like, ooh, and I remember because I had told the writer Brian, I think I was working with, Brian Gewirtz. Right?
Yeah, of course I know
and
Brian.
he says, yeah, we're still friends. You guys are still friends.
Yes, we just, as a matter of fact, just touched base a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So he was responsible for so many great moments out there. But this one moment, he was not in agreement with me. He said, I ran it by Vince, this Britney freaking Spears thing, and he says that doesn't make sense. That it makes no sense at all. What does it have to do with Britney Spears? And I was like, but no, it's okay. So then I did the whole let's ask for forgiveness. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
So you did it anyway.
And I did it because I knew it would go over very well.
That's awesome.
The whole thing is like if you're gonna do something, just make sure it is hit out of the park, and then you'll be okay. Because otherwise, it's like, well, that bombed, and why'd you do that? I thought it was gonna be funny.
Well, it says a lot about you too, because you had enough self-confidence in you.
Yeah.
And then when you deliver the line too, it's not like you just stumbled over a name.
I thought it was everyone knows it except for Lilian, but
yeah. Sorry, there's been so much in your life, so much.
Yes, I'm just kidding.
So much. But okay, so we're talking about the struggle of you when you first got there.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was the new girl. It's a competitive field, and as you know, there's only, especially for the women, there's only so many spots for the women.
Especially at that time.
And of course, I came in with a bit of hoopla because of my background, like she's Trish Stratus, fitness model, and they gave me a very special. Do you remember that first day?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So I started I signed in 99, but I didn't start till 2000 because the visa stuff, right? I had to get the work visas in order and everything. So finally, March 19th, 2000, made my debut. And I'd been on the road though. They'd been sending me on the road.
Yes, I remember you being on the road. Yeah, but you hadn't debuted or anything.
And then it was still about like getting to know my character. Let's figure out her character, right?
Yes.
And they didn't know what to do. And of course, in the meantime, what am I doing weekly? Putting storylines together and characters together and submitting them. Like they'd never seen that before. They said, you know what I mean?
Never seen that before because everybody does that now.
Now, of course, you have to because it's all about.
Oh my God!
But like storylines
opened up freaking so much. I love this
storyline. I mean, I had a great one with me and Billy Gunn. I had a great one with Kurt Angle and I had, of course, Ron said, "Okay, you can't just pitch yourself with all the top guys." Like they were like, "I want to be," you know what I mean? I was
sure,
like,
you can.
That's true.
Ron, don't you know me by now?
That was like a big thing we used to say, like with the championship. It was like you can't just always pitch yourself. Like they're always shooting down my ideas. It's like, but you're not always going to be in the main event or in the main. You have to think outside the box and think of not always saying. So I want to be number one in the spotlight. So this is what I'm thinking. It's like no, maybe it's this spot over here that isn't being filled, right? So anyway, sat patiently, and then they came up with the idea of TNA, right? So we were in a Long Island, and it was Test and Albert, TNA, talent and ability.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Talent and ability.
Yeah.
But do you remember that day?
Yeah, because and you're debuting tonight. I'm like, but
what?
I need Lilian.
Yeah.
Let's go to the mall.
Remember we went in Nassau? Yeah, Nassau Coliseum.
Yep.
There was a mall right there in Long Island, and we went there and literally looking through the shelves. All of a sudden, you come to me with a long coat.
Yes.
And a cowboy hat.
See, to me, it was key as a wrestling fan and playing wrestling games. I knew that an outfit was key, like an identifiable look, something that could be duplicated at Halloween, perhaps. You know what I mean? I was like, the Undertaker wears this, and the guy that wears the thing. Like, you could say that. I want to be like, the girl that wears the thing. So the cowboy hat, the trench coat, and then I had those clunky, funky boots that I would always wear. That was very in at the time.
And just that was, so you guys know, I mean, that all happened that day.
That afternoon. And I was like, what do you think?
Yeah, and I was like, I like it.
And I guess they were in at the time too. They were everywhere. Right?
But I'll never forget
colors.
too.
Oh, what?
Your boobs didn't come out till that night.
Oh,
because when you showed
backstage.
it to me, you're like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden when you backstage, you put it all together, and now her boobs are like
this,
boobs.
basically, but not 8 months pregnant. Yes.
And I was like, oh, whoa, hello.
And that just shows you, I'm like this, when I say the sex pot thing is not me, like I don't wear that backstage. I'm not, like you would, I'm very tomboy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you show up like that. I'm like, because all these
that
weeks.
Works. I mean, that works. Sorry.
All these weeks right before that, you were you weren't like that at all backstage. It took me back. It did. It took me back when I went,
look at
naive me.
Look at you.
But it worked. It worked.
Yes.
So how did it feel to come out there for your first night? And
well, it was like loving what we could do with the storyline, right? Knowing that I was going to be a bad guy, I was pretty excited about that. And standing on that ramp was like surreal. Like just standing there and just being like as I'm looking, I'm like, my look was supposed to be like, I think I'm going to scout this guy. Real, I'm going, holy shit, look at this. I was looking at this when I'm seeing your pictures here, like this big, these people here.
Right.
And and I did show a little bit of that in my first promo. I think Jerry Lawler said, so you looked a bit like a deer in the headlights.
No, you did not.
That's what
Seriously?
He said. Yeah.
But
you know, look back at it and maybe be like, maybe.
I don't think so.
I looked super excited and like you could tell me a little like, what am I doing here, first of all? Why am I talking to all the 20,000 people?
Can you blame anyone?
Right?
Seriously.
Dream come true, like amazing.
Dream come true.
Yeah.
You're standing there, you're checking out both of them, and just, I mean, what a moment. And I was at ringside to witness this. It was so awesome. And I was like, I was shaking for you. I know, I was shaking for you. And I was like, yeah, the outfit just totally works.
Yeah.
And all. And
we have a little look going on here.
Yeah. Now you valeted for a while.
Yep, valeted for a while.
And how did it feel to valet for a while, and then did you want to be in that ring? Did it be a bit like, somebody let me in,
knowing that I'd done that training, that's all I wanted. I thought, like, if there's a chance for me to show this side, I would love that. Like, and I don't know if there's going to be a chance. Don't forget, this happened at a time where I had signed my contract. I'm sitting at home, 1999, and I'm like, and the cat I'm like, I looked at Ron, and the cat removed her shirt, at that pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
And Ron and I were like,
that.
I'm like, what did I just sign up for?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my God, right? Because I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So I thought if there's a chance somehow, I'm not sure, because there wasn't really like a women's division. There was women having occasional matches here and there. Like, I remember I was backstage in Toronto and I met Ivory, and cool thing like once in a while, but not like storylines, not like consistent. Not
Well,
like,
China was a lot with some of the guys too.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Triple
So there were,
H and, and fighting Jeff Jarrett. I remember that.
Yeah, something that didn't seem like, it was almost like the fitness modeling industry was like, well, that I can't do that, but maybe there's a different niche for us to do for this person, type of style person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different. We represented different things out there, right? So then I remember my first match, because certainly, yes, I've had matches in this, this is not here. You know what I mean? So it was a bit, very nerve-wracking, and I mean, you can teach anyone to wrestle, but you can never compare the experience of being out there live in front of these many people, doing something that you're fully capable of doing, and there's breathing, and you have to convey emotion, and you have to evoke emotion from a crowd, and you have to show your face the whole time, and it's a lot. Like, it's a lot,
What I don't remember is, how long were you valeting to when you got to wrestle?
I don't know. I've got to look it up. Because there was the first match was presented to me. It was actually a three-way, or a three-person. So it was the Hardy Boys and Lita, and myself and TNA.
So literally,
like, soon.
You started, your first opponent was Lita?
Yes, that's why we have that little connection.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I remember that.
Yeah, and that's why there's like that thing, because from the very beginning it was like Trish versus Lita.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right from the beginning. And that's why there's that, for years, that's what people know and have come to love, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys had chemistry. What do you feel like? What evoked that? The chemistry that the two of you have, and the rivalry, and in the ring, and how that just, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
What it is. That's what it is. It's almost like it's an intangible almost, right? It's like it's sometimes going to be there and it's not. Her and I also had we both were the newbies coming in the same time. We were brand new to the scene. We actually spoke a little bit before we actually both started on the road. She started before me, but she started with Eso Rios, right?
Yeah,
for a little
I remember
while first, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, are you, she was like, yeah, I think they were training her. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I was like, well, I'm doing my training. So, but they weren't specifically training me on their, watch or time, paycheck or anything. But yeah, we connected early. We're both like these, we're young, right? We're like just we're 22 years old, right? So 22-year-olds just excited about this opportunity and possibly doing something that no other female possibly would do. Like, how do we know what we're going to do in this world? So, so we connected in that regard, and then we spoke about it, and then coming in, it was kind of neat that we both could come in, so we came in the same time. So when we got to work together, that was kind of cool, and it was neat because she had the Hardy Boys who could give us, sort of take us aside and give us some, some tips and things like that. And Tess and Albert were really great. I mean, I did, like, as you know, I had a hard time, and some of the boys were rough to me too, because not that I was getting special treatment. I was like, well, why does this girl get her own entrance 2 times on one show? Like when I first came out, like there's stuff like that. I'm still taking a spot.
What people
right?
don't realize though is that you didn't ask for that.
I asked Universe. No, I didn't.
Well, you asked God.
No, I did actually ask Vince. I wanted 2 spots in my debut. No.
Right?
Yeah. No. But, exactly. And then it's like, well, it's not my fault that they see that they want to use this character to do this thing.
Right.
I mean, what am I supposed to do, right? And so that was a lot of the things with the girls had a hard time with me. So I mean, China one in particular was quite, she was tough on me, as you know.
It's funny because I remember China was tough on me as well. But I also, there was a moment that she apologized to me.
That's great.
Because she literally says there's a lot of women that come into this industry and they use it as a stepping stone for something else. And I thought maybe you were one of those.
Yeah, right.
And so she was protective of the brand and the, all of that. Yeah. So I think that she just went through a struggle of every girl that came in. Are you here for the right reasons? Or are you here
totally
because
understandable.
she loves wrestling so much? It's her life.
Yep.
Right? So that's what I saw. But I did see where you were having a hard time, and that's, the nature in me too, to go.
We had some tough, you lived through a lot of tough times with me in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I call Ron. There was one point where I was just like, I don't know, this, like, I'm not exactly being welcomed here, and like maybe this isn't the right fit, maybe, I don't know, like it's because I've also, like, as we talked earlier, I've really had a good job of fitting into most places I've been, you know what I mean, like working to a donut shop, to a bar, to every, like, you know what I mean, to the Calculus Club, to the Jocks, you know what I mean. So I'm like, well, this is not clicking here. Like, if it wasn't for Lilian, like I said, I have nobody here. And the guys, like, I mean, they were fine, but I'm still taking a spot, you know what I mean. And I remember what got misconstrued one time was my excitement towards WrestleMania, and I was told that I was so excited about the fact that I knew I was going to be at the WrestleMania. But I was, so they were looking at it like she's bragging that she's at WrestleMania, but it wasn't. It was just so excited to be at WrestleMania and thankful for the opportunity. So yeah. So I mean, but you know, things happen. There's no like I don't look back on it and I go, well, if it wasn't for this person, this person, like they really did me wrong. But it was just an overall not great environment. And to me, all it did was said I have to prove that I belong here. And so I'm going to work my butt off, and I'm going to show them that they'll be like, you can't deny, you know, quality, right? You know, so at the end of the day, you can't deny talent. I mean, you know, it's like, I'm going to just go do what I got to do out there, and hopefully that will win them over. And eventually, that's what happened, right? I had to earn the respect, and that was understandable.
Silver lining.
Yeah.
Trish, silver lining. That's the same thing with, you know, I mean, it's really, you and I kind of had the whole parallel when we started, and it was just hard. I didn't know to shake people's hands.
Yeah.
I didn't know,
Exactly. She put her back. I didn't know that etiquette.
I had no idea. I have no idea. But at the same time, it's like I even, you know, when I left just now, and I wrote emails to a few of, you know, to Vince and Stephanie and Triple H, you know, I literally said to Triple H, thank you for toughening me up in a way too.
Because mean to me sometimes.
Well, no,
but
it's not that, but it's just because I needed that as well. It's really led me to who I am now.
Yeah.
And so there is a whole silver lining, and there's times at the moment you go, what?
Yeah.
Why am I going through this? This is so hard, and I hate it, and nobody loves me, and nobody likes me, and you know.
Yeah.
When it's not your nature to be that way, you're going, why are you perceiving me that way? Why are you perceiving me as a diva?
Yeah.
I'm not a diva.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a diva.
A WWE diva, maybe.
No, we don't use that word.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, we don't use that word anymore.
Not anymore.
Thank God.
Yeah, I was going to say, so how does that feel? Like, did you not like the diva?
I never liked the diva word. I never even used it. I would do my best to like not call myself that, nor refer to the girls as that. I mean, there was times where you had to, or it was on the teleprompter or whatever it was, but I just thought to me, it just means a bitchy, over needy person. I don't know, like, you know, it's not at all what we do. And also I didn't like that it separated us from, like, for me, I remember the first half of my career really enjoying that I could, and when I was, and this is, I could only do this once I was really starting to have matches, and like it's funny because when I would do interviews in the beginning, people say, so you're a wrestler? And I was like, well, like I couldn't call myself a wrestler, or at the airport even, when like, oh, that's so cool, you're a wrestler. And I would be like, I mean, like I couldn't accept that title until I earned it. And that came much later when I actually felt like, yeah, that was a good match. I've put in the time. I've had X amount of matches. I've done well in my matches. My skill level has improved, and I couldn't accept it until then. So what I did enjoy was when they say, you know, the superstars, they would call us, you know, WWE Superstars, and that was back in the day. That's what we were called. And then suddenly I had to call myself a diva, and I was like, but we do what the guys do.
I didn't know that. For some reason I forgot. I guess I've been there with the WWE divas.
But we were superstars before,
but I didn't know that.
And it was a new thing, right? The diva was a new thing that they brought in, and they were trying to brand it and do all that stuff. But then I understand from a marketing approach. I understand they were branding it, and well, they've done a fantastic job with it. Total divas, you know. But I didn't. I was like, no, I don't want to separate. Because then you're like this. You do this other thing, but no, we don't do this other thing. We do the same thing. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know. So I wasn't a fan of that word. So that title, like, I wasn't a fan of that title either. People, you should go back and it's okay. As a heel, maybe actually that would have been good, but. Yeah, so I'm happy I'm really happy to see the direction they've moved and where they're going. It's just really great to see.
I was going to say, how do you feel about the way the women's, you know, the revolution? Mm-hmm.
It's great. I mean, it's
hell, Hell in the Cell matches. Now you were one of the first, though, I remember, to main event, females to main event.
Yeah, Amy and I, Lita and I had our main event, and like in Victoria and I had our first female to get a chair shot, like getting a chair shot, like. Oh, I'm getting a chair shot, Ron. Like, I remember, like, that was an amazingly, like, you're going to get smacked over the head with a piece of steel. That's great. Awesome for you. But in our world, in our little microcosm, it's everything. Yeah. We begged for that moment, and we got it. Like, it's a thing, you know, it's like a thing, because we want to be like, this feud, this storyline, and all the work we had done to like build ourselves up as this hardcore. I mean, where do we go next? Like, this is what we have done. Like, we've built up a really great feud between us, and so the chair shot was like a really cool moment for Victoria and I. I think we got holy shit chance again there, which is, those are moments like, I got holy shit chance.
Yeah. Which WrestleMania stands out to you as just the moment?
Probably a WrestleMania 18 was in Toronto, you know, and just because it was my hometown. So I felt that love. I didn't even win that match, and I didn't need to win that match. It wasn't about winning the match. It was the fact that I was in a women's match for the women's championship was everything to me. You know, I mean, that was like a moment, like that's what we worked towards.
It was against?
It was against Alita and Jazz. It was a three-way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was there in front of my friends and family. I had the Canadian flag on my butt. Do you remember that whole outfit and everything? Like, that was like, oh man, I put some time into that outfit. Like, that was just everything for me. It really was, because it really meant, like, this is where we were working towards, was to get the same exposure where a prominent spot on the card. I say prominent spot on the card. We're actually, some would refer to it as a popcorn match, but because it was before The Rock and Hulk Hogan, which is not the best spot to be behind. It was a tough, but
you did it.
We did it. We got an amazing reaction. The Canadian crowd, like, that was part of the story anyway. The underdog coming, you know, and I was new to, you know, versus Jazz and Lita. Those were experienced wrestlers, and I was the underdog coming in, right? And and why I feel I have this connection with the fans, like, I feel like I grew up in front of them, and they got to see me fall down, dust myself off, and just keep on going.
Yeah,
you know, they saw me have really shitty matches. Am I allowed to say shitty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
really itty matches.
Itty bitty they saw me saying, like, okay, I'm gonna go back and I won't do that again, and I'll just, you know, and they saw me improve, and they watched this, like, you know, this
I definitely saw this improvement, but I saw this radical difference, and I feel like I remember you getting hurt playing your ankle, right? You were playing ball, soccer, or something.
The cover story is that I was training.
Yes, the cover story. Now
I can say what I was trying to do actually was I was trying to show Ron that I could kick like Pele, and I did it with a beach ball though in the backyard, and I did not kick like Pele. I actually just watched a documentary the other day. That's or not a documentary. It was actually a story based on his life. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, we were just talking about how there's handfuls of people in this world that are just meant to do what they did, like Pele and like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, The Rock. You know what I mean? They're just people that are like, and they revolutionized
Trish Stratus.
an industry.
I wasn't setting put you in that. No, but I will put you there for sure.
Thank you. But
seriously,
yeah, it's pretty. It was awesome. But anyway,
I remember you got hurt. You called me and you were like, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world." Like, it's almost like you were like,
again, that moment of like the strike, almost like no, but because we had started to have matches, and I was like, so my training, and when I say my training, like, I really learned on the go. Like, you remember, we'd get to the building, we'd grab lunch, and I was in the ring like
the whole
1
afternoon.
o'clock till it was live. I mean, I was still coming back. You're like, you're live. I'm like, remember I didn't even care what I looked like. It was like,
if you're watching YouTube,
I mean,
you should come back and be like, okay, I gotta be on stage.
And you were like, can I comb that for you? Like, I was, and I'm not like a girly girl, so I was like, does this look like absolutely not.
I remember doing your hair, like literally blow drying your hair.
I don't have no idea how to blow dry my hair to this day, thanks to her.
She literally would tell me, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just wake up and I just walk.
I just go. And, you know, she's like, no, you need to be a little more glamorous. Come here, sit. Like, so thank you for bringing the glamorous side of me out.
No problem. That was fun.
Yeah. I was just like, but I just got to do my thing out there. No. You need to look good doing your thing. Come back here.
Yeah.
And then even like when there was a point in wrestling, like, where I call it my not saying ugly phase, but my...
You never had an ugly phase. No way.
Less glammy phase. Like, not as... Like, there was a phase where we were really getting into our stuff. Like, Molly Holly and I, Jazz, we're having these matches, and we were on the road doing... And, you know, most of you guys know the schedule now that we endure, but it was like Friday, you do a match on televised. You travel Saturday. You travel Sunday. You get to Raw. You do your Monday. And at that time, we did Tuesday. So we did 5 days on the road. And, you know, like, all I was concerned about was my match out there. Don't care what my outfit looks like. So there's a phase where I remember my appearance had that reflected that thinking, because it wasn't looking like I wasn't putting much into what I was doing out there. I was like, okay, I got to bring sexy back. You know, I can get, you know, I get there's a thing we're doing here. So
and you did. Absolutely.
So, but yeah. I don't know where we were.
I know, right?
Like, where were we? Can you please send us a tweet and let us know?
I mean, seriously, you've had such a fantastic career there, and you've had so many amazing moments. I mean, besides that WrestleMania moment, is there another moment that just sticks out in your head?
I think my retirement, you know, because that was just like, I just pictured you like that shot of you.
Oh my God, I was so upset.
Oh, we were so sad to be leaving each other, and
like, you literally were cleaning out your drawer that afternoon. I couldn't stop bawling. I mean, bawling. I was crying. And now there's a picture right there that we could see where you pointed at me.
Yes, my girl.
And I pointed at you, and you could tell at ringside. Look at that.
Our listeners cannot see my goosebumps, but our viewers might. But don't do close up.
And my eyes are watering because I remember that moment. And I said, my girl's leaving.
I know. Don't cry.
I know.
Yeah.
Because seriously, just being with you for those 7 years and just having you and just watching you grow, and that was part of the conversation just now that we were having.
Right.
When you came back from
Yes.
that injury, what a silver lining that injury was.
100%.
Because what happened, Trish? All of a sudden you come back and you're just so good.
Yeah.
What
Well,
did you do? Like,
honestly, I went like so. I did Confidential during that time, so I was able to hone those skills. Remember that show Confidential with Jonathan Coachman? Do you remember that?
yeah.
I hosted that. You forgot about that, right?
I totally forgot about that.
It was one of
show.
those. Well, since I can't do this, I'm going to do this. So I ended up co-hosting the show with Jonathan
Yeah.
Coachman, which was a lot of fun. I went back and watched wrestling like a fan again, and because you're on the road and you don't watch the show anymore. You
No, 'cause
watch
you're-
your match
yeah.
in the catering the next day,
Right.
and you lose touch a little bit of what you're doing out there,
Life,
right? You just because
yeah.
you're in this like we live in the moment, but it's such a crazy fast-paced moment that you
Yeah.
can't see much out past these blinders here. And I went back and I watched wrestling as a fan again, and I saw what made me excited, what evoked my emotion when I watch a performance, and and then I just tried to bring that when I came back, and it really made me look at you, teary.
I know, right?
Can I get a tissue in here?
I gotta stop having some. I mean, literally, I've seen that this show is definitely bringing out like so
Yeah.
much emotion in me, and I hope that that's how the fans feel.
Yeah.
Because it's been just incredible sharing your story. But I do. I remember you coming back, and it was just like,
Yeah.
it clicked.
It clicked, and I needed like I needed a breather to like go home.
How long were
and-
you gone? I
Gosh,
that
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't, it was a few months. It was
Yeah.
definitely a few months because it was an ankle injury, and I remember the time. So finally, like as you know, we were backstage, and so I would work with Fit in the ring all day, and I would just learn new moves, and I would come to him like, so I saw this thing on Mortal Kombat, and I'm thinking, what if I, and so then him and Lance Storm were amazing, and Rico,
I love-
like those
yeah,
guys
Brie.
were so instrumental
Amazing.
in like helping me, find ideas, and then of course whoever I happen to be working with at the time, like that's the thing about this is why you have these bonds, because whoever you're working with at the time is your bestie, like you're like, I'm gonna make you my, you're my godfather, you're my, you're like, that they're part of your life at that, because your life is everything, and so you're discussing things, and you guys are bonded, and then sometimes it happens where the feud's over, and actually not that your relationship's over, but that's, now your go-to person is this person. It's just weird how that, except for you, like we were a constant,
Yeah,
right?
we were a
We were
constant,
the
yeah.
constant.
Yeah.
It was nice actually to have that separation, right? Where
Yeah.
you weren't wrestler, and so we could talk about it. We could see things differently when we chatted about things, right?
Oh, God.
And that was so helpful. Like, and I say honestly, keeping me focused, and like a lot of it was coming home and having our decompression together.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was just like it's insane. If you don't decompress after that night or like, that week, like it's gonna affect you.
Yeah, because I remember literally we would get in the car and it was just, wow. It was, and sometimes we could totally let it go
Yeah.
and not talk. And I remember the times we would put on the music.
Yes,
and,
yes, yes.
Grease.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Soundtrack to
Show
Grease.
tunes, yes.
And show tunes and all, and just sing away,
Yeah.
and just kind of just let it all go.
Yeah.
God, Trish, we're running out of time. I can't
Oh my
believe
gosh,
it
are we already?
already.
Blah, 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 blah,
So
blah.
I gotta like take you to after, like, first of all, here it is, your retirement. Why did you retire? What made you go, okay, it's time?
The main thing was, contract was coming to an end. How much time do we have?
Yeah, it shortened in about 7 minutes or so.
Contract was coming to an end. They wanted me for another 5 years. I mean, looking at my career, I felt really satisfied. Sorry, with what I had done. I had worked with everyone. I mean, I'd worked with all the girls, the amazing girls that were with us at the time. And not that it wasn't like what's next, because you can always, as you can see, you could always create a new character and a new storyline, etc. Even with the old people that you've worked with. But my mom got diagnosed with cancer, and it was just a thing. It was like, and it was like the universe, like this. That means it's time to go.
Done.
It's time to go, and it was just, I need to be home. There's no way, because you are so consumed on the road. There's no way I could be with her during treatment, and just I needed to be with my mom, and that this was like, you're giving me an out to go do this, just like you had an out. And there was a reason it
Isn't
happened.
that crazy that our parents...
And this is silver lining, because at the end you found
Yes.
stuff, but at the time you're like, I don't know, is this the right decision? And,
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary because it's been our life for so many years, and you hate to leave this in a way, and the fans and the WWE family and
and
all
to
of
be
that.
grateful for all the stuff you have too. Like you're like leaving this amazing thing, really, this amazing opportunity.
Traveling the world and all
and-
of that.
yeah.
But again, it is a silver lining in that you got to spend time with your mom. Luckily, your mom made it through.
Yep.
I
fully
saw her
recovered.
this morning.
Yep.
She looks great.
Yep.
I love it. And then my dad is, still been fighting. And I want to thank you because I know that, your dad passed away last year and you've been really helpful, so helpful to me with what's going on with my father.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it's amazing when you have a friend that has gone through it, that knows what you're feeling and helping out.
It's interesting because I think going through it, and then you get all these messages from people like when he passed, and there was someone who had written to me who had just lost their dad too, and it was like that, she was kind of like, because I'm going through this too, so I know, and then you'll be okay, right? And I kind of was like, okay, because you don't think you're going to be okay at first.
No,
I mean, even right now, I know it's tough, and we're not going to talk about that right now.
Right.
So it was nice to connect with you, but also I wanted to really to share that with you. It's something that I got from someone else, and I wanted to pass it on to you because,
Thank you.
Yeah, we had some good talks in the last,
year,
right?
Yeah. No, it's been, what I love is that you left WWE, but you didn't leave me as your friend.
Yeah, I know.
It's been, Are there any regrets you've ever had?
I don't regret one single thing. Like I can say that everything I've done, I've owned it. You know what I mean? If like there might have been stuff like like I didn't desire, that wasn't a desirable outcome.
Yeah.
But it was meant to be for whatever reason. It led to something, or it taught you a lesson, or whatever it was. I have no regrets, and I just I feel so blessed.
You are blessed, and one of the things is that you have had a life after WWE. I kind of wanted to touch on that, but we're not going to be able to. But people can see at trishstratus.com. They can see all the things that you've done, all the covers you made. You were at 99 covers before you left.
I think 98 or 99, but I was like,
or 98,
and then
98.
things just kind of ended for me. Like, I mean, I had done some, but I was just like, because I just kind of got out of, what I was doing? I was building my brand. I was building my company. I opened up the studio, and and I was just like, I wasn't doing the modeling
yoga.
I wasn't doing the modeling stuff anymore, and I was like, oh my God, is this really gonna happen? I'm gonna go down without 100 covers, like, And
how
then
do you stop at 98?
I was like, how do we? So I rebranded Trish Stratus. When I was pregnant, I knew.
I knew.
Yeah.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah, thanks, Max.
There's a lot of
Give me
things.
a little new character, and you can pregnant Trish.
Well, the way I want to end this is that there is something that God, and we might have tears. I don't know. You know that I left. I mean, I told you that I left the first time at 10 years because I got married and I wanted to have children. And lo and behold, wasn't able to get pregnant. But I bought something during the time that I wanted to get pregnant. And I bought it because I wanted to visualize, right? The universe, all of this. And it's never happened for me. I'm so, I'm so overjoyed that it's happened for you. I went to my drawer and I pulled out what I bought. And this was a little thing for my little girl.
Oh my God.
And now you're having a little girl. It can't sit in my drawer anymore. I want you to have this.
Oh my God, Lil.
Seriously, you can just pull it out of the side. I made it easy. But she has to wear this.
Oh my God, Lil.
Is that not just precious?
Oh my gosh.
There was something that I saw in that.
That's amazing.
And I want your little girl to have it because literally it just can't sit in a drawer.
I don't know what to say.
You've been always so special to me.
Yeah.
There's something about you that, I don't know, it's just I connected with and everything. And so I am so happy for your journey. And I wish you nothing but more and more and more success because you deserve it. You really do. Because you've stayed true to yourself from the very beginning and you've been so inspirational. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And with that,
I honestly, this is so exciting. I can't wait to put this on her. And the thing about our bond, like, my mom was just talking as we were driving to meet you, and she goes, you guys hadn't talked in a while, and all of a sudden, I remember, I was like, well, it's Lilian. I remember seeing your name come up, and I was like, and we talked for like a few hours. It was like, and she just laughed. She was like, wow, because she knew how close you were to me, and she just, there's just people in your life that will, like, thankfully, forever be in your life, no matter what the circumstances, whether the feud was over or not. You know, talk about that thing, but, and it's just like, and I'm so proud of you. I know we're gonna wrap up. We're not gonna like do a gush fest right now, but when I watched you and Brie, I just like. For me to join you here and to be here to support you meant so much to me. Like, it was so important because this is finally showing everyone, like, you're so much more than I think people even know about you. I mean, now people are really seeing like you're a special lady. You have so much talent, and what you're doing for the fans is really special and unique. You know, and I think like people are just this is gonna be a huge success, and I'm honored to be on your show. And I honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I would
that.
travel 9 months pregnant even.
Well, I don't want to see
With compression
that.
socks, though, if you're ever traveling. No, sorry.
So again, what is all your social media so that people can stay connected with you?
TrishStratus.com. My website is TrishStratus.com. I'm on all the social media stuff, although my Instagram I'm warning you is a bit about Max and food.
And that's perfectly
Which is
all
fine,
right.
because this is my life.
It is your
Exciting.
life. It's your next
Great
chapter.
recipes, though, and
Yeah.
crafty ideas, and Max.
I love it.
Yeah,
Well, you
so-
can find me at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and also on Twitter, LilianGarcia.com, and Lilian Garcia official fan page. And also, you can find me on Luchando. That's every Friday. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got the Spanish podcast. Had to do it.
It's amazing.
Para todos ustedes que hablan español. There we go.
I have no idea what you just said.
Seriously, again, I thank you so much for joining
course.
me. I love you.
I love you too.
And good luck to you with everything.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for joining me again. I love you much. Mwah!
And we hope you were stratified.
Yes, peace, much passion, and love. See you guys. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, Kevin Undergaro, Lilian Garcia, Mark Donica, associate producer James Frank, AfterBuzz Wrestling News correspondent Christy Olson, and the entire Making Their Way to the Ring staff. We would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow Lilian on Twitter and Instagram at Lilian Garcia. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later.